So go ahead and enjoy women's sports like you would any other sports, because they are sports.
Yes.
Except you, Harrison Butker. We don't need you.
At all, like ever.
Welcome back to Tipping Point. I'm your host, Garrett McKinney. So that was legendary tennis players Venus and Serena Williams alongside actress Quinta Brunson at the 2024 ESPY Awards. Oh, and the Kansas City Chiefs player was in the audience too. Once again, the argument here is that it's toxic for a man to love his wife so much that he's reduced to tears and praising her sacrifices for their family while speaking as a Catholic man in front of a Catholic audience of college grads. But it's not toxic for literally every other man in sports to be knocking up baby mamas left and right and then abusing them. This post on X reads, "It is continuously so insane that Tyreek Hill strangled the mother of his child. Deshaun Watson has 26 sexual assault allegations. And if you look up NFL domestic violence on Google right now, there are 2 instances in the past 72 hours. Yet women are still going on about a speech," end quote. Exactly. You'll likely recall that Butker's commencement speech literally sparked bigoted anti-Christian and more specifically anti-Catholic vitriol from the mainstream. What happened to all the words are literal violence mantras we always hear. Because not only are churches being torched across the US and Canada over the mass graves hoax and other bigotries, but they're also going up in flames across Europe. Back in 2019, it was the Notre Dame of Paris, and now it's the ruined Cathedral of Normandy, which was once painted by Claude Monet. Sometimes these fires or vandalisms or even outright murders, as we've seen at the altars, are happenstance. Other times, Islamic migrants are involved. So imagine if mosques were constantly being vandalized or burned down. Would the media censor our speech even more regarding the religion of peace, which will leave you in pieces? But Christians are the most persecuted religion on earth, and everywhere you look, the symbols of our religion are being ground under and our faith roundly mocked by all the elites. Heck, Muslims just ethnically cleansed Christian Armenians from their ancient homelands, and the international community hardly batted an eye over it. You wouldn't catch Serena Williams mocking some Muslim guy on stage at the ESPY Awards about how she gets to wear short skirts to play tennis in front of large crowds, despite what the Muslim guy may think is appropriate or not. This has been one of the worst fruits of our adventurism, I'd say, in the Middle East. The destabilization of foreign nations and then the bringing of those people here as refugees. The elites use their incompatible beliefs as a way to tear down our Christian identity so that they can replace it with godless materialism. But I don't think they expected a rise in political Islamism in the West. I think they thought the Muslims would fight the Christians here and then everyone would eventually become more secular as time goes on. No, that's not really happening. For all those who do become secular as immigrants, there's at the same time a growing minority who are just as jihad-minded as ever, and their numbers are getting stronger, and they're more organized than their opponents are. But the other problem we've created for ourselves is that by importing the problem here, we never quite solved it abroad either, so now it's just everywhere. There's no safe haven. A new report by Lieutenant General Sami Sadat, the head of the Afghanistan United Front, argues that al-Qaeda is reemerging as a global threat. Joining us now to discuss is John Rosamondo, the Strategic Communications Director for the Afghanistan United Front. John, thanks for being here tonight. So I think this is interesting. From the report, it claims that al-Qaeda is on the rise, due in part to Iran, though I thought the two were not exactly on good terms. So what exactly is going on here?
Well, the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has had a long-standing supportive relationship with al-Qaeda. After the fall of Kabul, Ismail Khani, who's the head of the IRGC Quds Force, which supports the so-called axis of resistance, Hamas, Hezbollah, etc., met with top-ranking leaders of the Taliban and agreed, together with the top leader of al-Qaeda, post-Zawahiri, to form an alliance to drive the U.S. out of the Middle East. So the Biden administration looks at the Taliban as a partner against terrorism. And don't forget, the Doha Agreement that led to the withdrawal said that the Taliban had to give up terrorism. No, it's become terrorism on steroids.